The views and opinions expressed on any program are those of the producers and/or the persons appearing on the program and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of FRC Media, Bristol Community College, or the City of Fall River.
Well, hello. Welcome to Spindle City Straight Talk. I'm Chip.
And I'm CJ.
And it's Wednesday, the day after the New Hampshire primary. No longer a caucus.
No longer. And the caucus results still aren't out yet.
and guess what? The next one is a caucus in Nevada. And I saw a thing this morning saying that it looks like they may have all kinds of problems with that caucus because, again, they've got all kinds of overchecks and overbalances because they're going to, let's hope they don't screw the Nevada caucuses up too.
Well, you know, it's very interesting because, like I said, they still haven't rendered the decision on Iowa, and we've had New Hampshire. So New Hampshire's the first primary, and in case you aren't aware, it came in Bernie Sanders first, Pete Buttigieg second, Amy Klobuchar third, and
Elizabeth Warren.
Oh, excuse me, Elizabeth Warren third.
No.
I mean, Amy Klobuchar third, Elizabeth Warren fourth, and Joe Biden fifth. I knew I had it in my head somewhere.
Yeah.
Biden left New Hampshire early, and he's holding firm that South Carolina is going to bring him out of this. I don't know. And you had Yang and someone else who have dropped out. They've put their Bennett have put their campaigns on hold.
Yeah.
So,
well, I think they actually withdrew last night.
Yeah.
They stopped their campaign. Well, look, who knows? You can never say never.
No.
Remember, all the pundits counted Trump out. They said it was going to be one of the most ignominious defeats in the history of presidential elections, and he ended up winning. But I don't know if Joe Biden can be the first person in history not to get any delegates out of the first three caucuses and primaries.
I know.
And then become the nominee. But who knows? He's banking on tremendous support in South Carolina from the black community and from labor. But they said that his support with the black community is eroding, too. Some people are siphoning that stuff off. And I'm going to tell you, he's going to need a tremendous turnout and tremendous support, almost unanimous support from the Democratic black community in South Carolina, because he's dug himself a hole. But, hey, who knows? With that cast of characters, nobody knows what's going to happen.
Nobody really knows what's happening.
We're all over the place. It's pretty bad when you call Buttigieg a moderate, because if you look at some of the policies that he implemented as a mayor and some of the things he talks about, he's no moderate. But I mean, obviously everything is relative. I mean, compared to
Bernie Sanders, he's a moderate.
Bernie Sanders and AOC,
yeah.
You know, maybe the John Birch Society would be considered moderate.
It's interesting, but you know, let's look to the very near future. In 2 weeks, they stop early voting here in Fall River.
Yep.
You can go down to the government center. You can vote early.
And often. No,
right, yeah, early and often. On Wednesday, you'll be able to vote later. And also, you have, for today, to make any changes in your voter registration. You have until 8 o'clock tonight at Government Center. You have until midnight online. So please get on top of that if you've got any changes, and be sure you're registered to vote. And on Tuesday, March 3rd, will be our primary. So it's going to be very interesting to see how bad we screw it up.
Yeah. Well, look, the key is, look, participate, people. We don't care if you agree or disagree who your candidate is, but at least participate in the process. That's what will make this country. The only way we can affect change, and forgive me, I'm trying to drag this phone out of my pocket here, so we'll make sure it's on silence because it'll invariably ring in the middle of the show. But participate. There's nothing more important. The only way we can affect change, people always complain about government, and we complain all the time, but we vote. We try. We try to affect change, and we try to participate, and we try to do our research and cast a vote for what we feel will be the best vote for the people, to elect people that will represent us. So by all means, listen, like CJ said, get down there. You can't make an excuse now. You can vote early. You can go down there and vote before the election. You can get an absentee, but you can do. There's absolutely no reason that you can't vote. There's just no reason.
And in this election, we really need, 100% turnout. Not that it's going to happen in Fall River, but we need 100% turnout in all of these states so that we can have a true vision of what the people want.
Well, yeah, and because we're going to need everybody, because the Democratic Party has succeeded in dividing not only the country by groups, by ethnicities and color, but they've even succeeded in dividing themselves, because the party's in a shambles. You got so far left they're in Pluto, and now the moderate is defined as a John Bircher, and their party is all over the place. And I know Bernie yesterday in his speech was talking about it doesn't matter who is nominated, we're going to all band together to beat Trump, and that's not true. That's what happened last time. The Bernie people, and they were justified in their anger, because look, they basically said in the last election, we don't care what anybody says, Bernie's not going to be the nominee. Hillary is. So I don't think a lot of them participated, or maybe they even switched and voted for Trump. And I'm not sure if Bernie doesn't succeed in getting the nomination, or even worse, if he's pushed out of the nomination by the superdelegates, I'm not sure if they could ever pull this party together. Because, let's face it, the far left is really right now a radical, ultra-radical left. I cannot see AOC or any of the squad or any of the far left, quote-unquote, progressives. I prefer the term lunatics, but it's just a label. It's my label. They can use their label. They're progressives. On my board at home, they're lunatics. But I don't see them supporting. I don't know, CJ. Maybe you see it there. I don't see those people really getting behind and working for somebody who is actually willing to close the borders and not give everybody everything for free.
Well, you know what they say, a house divided cannot long stand.
That's right. That's right. But I don't know. Do you think?
I don't think that they have.
Do you think that these people that are so far that want to give everybody everything for free are going to, let's, for the sake of argument, say Biden or Buttigieg or Bloomberg or somebody that's, by today's definition of moderate, gets the nomination, and now says, well, we're not going to give everybody free college tuition. We're not going to give everybody health care for free. We've got to cut, we've got to really kind of look for a middle ground, the moderate ground. I don't see those people. I see it a little bit.
I see it a little bit in Mayor Pete, because he's not supporting free college tuition. He's not supporting Medicare for all. He's not supporting giving, everyone $1,000 a month. I don't know what his immigration situation is, but, he's probably the closest to a moderate that we have at this point in time. I'm really not familiar with Amy Klobuchar's positions on things because, her debate were always attacks. It was always, but then again, all the debates were attacks. They weren't debates. They were attacking Pete Buttigieg. They were attacking Bernie Sanders. They were attacking each other. It made it very difficult to understand who's where and what's going on. And that's a problem. That's a big problem for people.
Well, we'll see more of Amy now since she did so well in New Hampshire, coming in with almost 20% of the vote when she was down around 1 or 2% in previously. She's become a force now, so people are going to really start paying a little bit more attention to her and her positions. But, you know, you bring up another point. You're talking about Buttigieg, and that cuts both ways. I don't see the ultra left that want everything for free getting really behind and pushing hard for somebody who's not going to give everybody free. And I also don't see Buttigieg getting 100% behind somebody who wants to open the borders and do things that he's not in favor of. Because there's, you know, the thing is they are so far apart. They can't meet in the middle because it's not like the difference between the East Coast and the West Coast. It's like the difference between here and China. They're on the other side of the world in some of their views. And I just don't see. Maybe they will, for the sake of the party, say, well, I'm supporting them and I endorse them. I don't see their constituents, because obviously people who are constituents with people who are a little bit more sane and don't want to give, you know, health care to everybody and make everybody go to government health care, even the unions who are normally Democratic, except for the police unions that are normally Republican. but no, it's true. Like
I know.
The state police have always backed Republican gubernatorial hopefuls. But the fact is, I don't see the unions supporting people who were for throwing everybody in government. They negotiated their entire life trying to get the health care plans that they wanted. They gave up benefits to get the health care that they wanted. And now they're going to just get thrown in, one shoe fits all, no choice. I'm not sure. So it's going to be, look, I'll tell you, this is going to be probably the most interesting election of my lifetime, because there's just so many moving parts now. It's not just Democrat versus Republican, fundamental platform versus fundamental platform. There's like, within the Democratic Party, there's like 600 different options.
I know. It's like you step into the crap in one way or the other.
That's right. It's like you fell down a rabbit hole and you're in Wonderland.
Exactly.
You know? It's like it's crazy. So hey, we'll see. Let's look forward to Nevada. See, number one, if they can actually count the votes.
Well, hopefully they're not using an app.
Yeah. So let's move on to our some of our city thing. The big news, of course, Buttigieg and Sanders actually split the delegates, which is kind of weird too. New Hampshire, they get a prorated delegate, so based on their vote.
And from what I understand, Bloomberg is opening an office here in Fall River tonight at 6 o'clock.
Yeah. That's
so
right.
it's going to be interesting to see. I mean, I'm thinking about going. From what I've been told, it's going to be at the Herald News building, because the Herald News is no longer there, so it's a big space with nothing in it.
Is Mike going to be there?
I have no idea. It'd be interesting if he was.
Yeah, maybe I might. Maybe I might drop by there just for a New York minute, just to look at.
I know who is definitely going to be there. I can't say his name on.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, we know that. Yeah, that's for sure. But now let's get to the big news. Environmental police digging at King Philip site as after AG executes a search warrant. Wow, you mean to tell me that they don't know there's some toxic stuff on that site? It's been there since. It was a fully operational mill complex, and there's just more and more being put down.
You know, what's very interesting is that this site has been so controversial for so many years.
From the get-go.
From the get-go. And here's the big problem. When this property was purchased, they said at the auction the minimum bid is $325,000. That was supposed to pay for the taxes. Because they set the bid so high, 2 other potential bidders did not show up, did not even attempt to bid. And when that happened, the bid went down to $110,000 for Mr. Kafori. Now, here's the thing. Now, isn't this the same guy who got the water main for free and, or actually the water mains in that area for free, and he got a great big price dump on this thing, and that's all under the Carrera administration. Could they be looking at this because it's the Carrera administration? I don't know.
Well, I think they'd look at it anyway. They're going to take a really close look to with some of the allegations that have been levied against the Carrera administration. As you said, though, right from the beginning, this looked like this was tainted.
Right.
The bid process was tainted. They didn't tell those people this is the starting bid, but if we don't reach the starting bid, we're going to have an open auction.
Right.
Because those people would have bought it. Who knows? There are a lot of other people that may have bought that property.
And that's
I mean, for $110,000, I mean, there are people that might have, that opened up the field for a lot of people. Because look, to us it may be a lot of money, but to a developer or something, $110,000 is a drop in a bucket.
Right.
That's chump change.
Right.
Now, 325, looking at the mitigation of all the environmental issues, now that's a different story, because you're looking over $250,000. Now you're looking at maybe another $1 million or more in mitigation. So it's a big investment. So maybe they look at it because they actually, and they're not like the government where they can spend as much as they want and just tax us some more and raise fees. Businesses actually have to look at a profit. Well, investment versus profit, potential profit, we have to put it on a scale. But this thing was from the get-go. The bidding process, I believe, was rigged, and a lot of people do. It's my opinion. I can't prove it. But it looks pretty damn much like it was rigged. And then we go on and all the freebies and what they've gotten. And I think if they dig deeper into that whole process, we'd have another fiasco with the city of Fall River. So, but have things changed? I don't know. I see this little, we move from that to another city issue. We got two city issues here. I have been told, and I haven't seen it yet, but I have a meeting tomorrow at Government Center, so I will check, of the Insurance Advisory Committee. I have heard that Madeline Coelho had her contract renewed.
Yes.
And she has an automatic cost of living raise,
yes,
as does Mary Sahadi.
I'll send you her contract if you'd like.
I would love it.
Because it was in last night's agenda. Okay,
great. And it was approved, I know.
Of course.
Okay. So the city council, again, what was the vote? 9-0?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, good. I'm going to have a counselor at tomorrow's retirees meeting, a new counselor, and I'm going to show them the numbers I did on Mary Sahadi, where using the consumer price index for the past 4 years, she would have gotten over $10,000 in 4 years, based on her salary. And now let's look at if somebody works for 30 years for the city of Fall River with an automatic cost of living raise. So she made $10,000 in 4 years. 20 years, she would make $50,000. 30 years, she would make $75,000 just in pay raises.
Right.
How many people can afford that? How can we afford to give, but you never give the employees? So I'm shouting out to all the unions whose contracts are now up.
That's the school department for sure. All of them are up.
And I'm going to talk to the school department tomorrow and tell them, if I were you, the first proposal on wages would be, we will forego requests for pay increases forever if you give us what you gave the 2 employees under contract, an automatic cost of living raise.
Actually, it's 3. It's actually 3 because Rumsey gets the same deal.
Oh, well, I didn't know the law department. Oh, good, that's even better. So now we've got 3 people that have got an unprecedented benefit, a benefit that erodes things insidiously behind the scenes, because you'll never know again how their salaries are creeping up. They just go in the budget. Unless you look at the budget, most people don't. Because what happens is with their automatic cost of living raise, it just gets put in. They make the adjustment, they get the CPI-U, they stick it in a salary. Then the next year they compound it and it goes in again. Like our state legislatures. It's like a cancer. It just keeps growing. So gone are the days when the city can go to arbitration and say, we can't afford to give you a pay raise, because they've agreed to give these people a pay raise every single year. Small, medium, large, all depends, but they're going to get something. And how many times have you seen police, fire, DPW take zero? All you union guys out there, remember how many times you had to eat a year without a pay raise, or 2 years without a pay raise? Because the city said, oh, we can't afford it. While they were piling your money, your pay raise in the bank for themselves. Now they give all their appointed cronies an automatic pay raise on top. So never again will we ever know what kind of money they make.
What's interesting, though, is these positions have their salaries set in ordinance. So when these pay raises come out, that's when you're going to find out that they got a pay raise and how much it is, because they're going to have to change the salary set in ordinance.
Oh, yeah, but nobody talks about it. It just goes in, they send the paperwork in, and they just like every time you negotiate a pay raise, whether it's fire, police, DPW, when a labor union negotiates a contract, you have a new set of wages.
Right.
And that wage has to go through the city council, has to go through 3 readings of the council. But who pays attention? Oh, they settled their contract. Oh, Mary Sahadi and Ramsey and Coelho are still under contract. So it just goes in. Oh, this is part of their contract.
Right.
And nobody says anything. And the politicians can take care of, like they take care of themselves. And again, we have the double standard. The people who actually have to work and negotiate. I want to see if they try to offer them zeros again, ever again, with people with these contracts. Because if I was a union guy, if they didn't give me that in this contract round, I would go to arbitration.
Yeah.
And that's what I would say.
Yeah.
I tell the arbitrator, listen, they've never given it to an employee before. They used to give it to the mayor and the city council. Our legislature gets this. So what are we? Are we being discriminated against? If the city can afford to make this, but now the city can only plead, we don't have enough money to give you a raise for 2 years, only to the people who actually work on the line. Again, harken back to that old article in the New Bedford Standard Times, the Sunday Standard Times.
Right.
If you work for the city, work in New Bedford. If you're an administrator, work in Fall River. So, hey, I don't care. I think, I work with Madeline all the time. But there's a principle involved. I don't like, as a union, I always fought for equity. I always took the benefit. I would rather take a benefit of $50 for all the membership than a benefit of $500 for a couple of individuals, because that's what unions are about, trying to keep everything fair. So let's be fair. So now the next political faux pas, at least the alleged faux pas, because I haven't confirmed this yet. We have a new city administrator.
He's not a city administrator yet.
Well,
he's been interviewed allegedly he's been interviewed 3 times for city administrator.
The Millbury town manager, and allegedly...
Former Millbury town manager.
Former, okay. Oh, that's right, I'm sorry, former. I had my thumb on former.
Yep.
Okay.
And he's lost several other jobs.
And he's lost at least 3 to 4 positions. He's been fired.
Right.
From small towns.
Right.
So my question is, how are you going to administer a city like Fall River? I can answer that, though. You do what you're told.
That's it.
You don't have to administer. Just shut your mouth and do what you're told.
Do
what the CFO tells you, and do what the mayor tells you. Don't be an administrator. That's why when we try to dump the charter, I'm going to try to replace it with a Type E charter.
Yeah. Well, what's
Because
interesting
I want somebody who's getting paid to run the city's finances, not to be a politician.
Right. And here's the interesting thing. I almost want to reveal this gentleman's name. I almost want to. But I'm holding off on that. But if Ann O'Neill Suze is watching, we know the name, and we know he's been interviewed 3 times.
And we know he was the former Millbury town manager. So all of you people out there that got Google,
look him up.
Look it up.
Because I'm telling you now, this is going to be the interesting thing, because he's no good for any of these other cities or towns that he's been terminated from, but his failures are good enough for Fall River.
Wait a minute. You're forcing me to go into doing the research on the air.
No, I don't think we need to do the research on the air, but you
No.
have to.
I just wanna do one little thing.
Yep. We got a couple of minutes, so.
Oh, Jesus, my fat fingers, I'm telling you.
We got to give you a computer on the desk.
Well, when you got size 16 fingers, I did it again. I can't hit that.
Well, if you were using an Android phone, Google would self-correct. It's very interesting.
I just want to check, just for, wow. He got fired from a town of 13,733.
Yeah. How is he going to handle a city with 90,000 people?
You know, how many employees?
Right.
How many people does he manage? How many departments does he have to look at as the administrator? How many contracts does he have to read?
And I'm sure this
and the
contract,
complexity of those contracts.
And I'm sure this contract will come out with a CPI-U. And I'm sure his contract will come out with a CPI-U.
And he's going to get an automatic raise.
Now,
He'll never leave.
Right.
He'll be like the rest of the techs.
Now, here's the thing, and I believe Alan Silva told the mayor that it is an ethical dilemma or an ethical violation for Mary Sahadi to serve as chief financial officer and city administrator. It's a conflict of interest. There's no question about it.
He said the jobs do not. They are separate. They have separate, focuses, and they should not be melded together.
Right.
And I know that because I know he said that because I spoke to Al.
Right. Now, here's the thing. If the mayor was already advised of this, why didn't he take the advice? Why not?
Well, he's going to get a separate city administrator.
I understand that, but right now she's basically in violation.
Well, Alan Silva also told him. Alan Silva also told him that you should fund the health care 100%, and the city never does.
No, because Mary Sahadi doesn't want to.
Because she wants to blow the money other places. And so tomorrow should be interesting, but we'll see what happens tomorrow. Well, we're talking about, I've already got the agenda. They emailed me the agenda, and we are talking about renewal rates. So we're going to have a lively discussion tomorrow about renewal rates.
Let's see how much more is laid on the back of the employee and the retiree.
Yeah, because we have to pay the full, we have to accept the full recommendation that we approve, where the city approves it and really doesn't fund it anyway.
Right.
So to me, that's fraud. And I am filing, I am getting those numbers together, although they categorically refuse it. Last month's meeting, I presented a letter in writing requesting the last audits that are required by 32B of the healthcare system, the last 4 audits, and I still haven't gotten them, just like I haven't gotten the money, the numbers from 2016 or the other numbers that I've requested. So I guess the Attorney General and a few other people will be getting complaints from me because I am a PEC representative and I am entitled to those numbers, because I will not approve anything until I'm sure that these numbers are accurate.
And under 6610, they're supposed to answer, if you do it as a public records request, 10 days. 10 days, people.
Well, you know something? I'd probably let a taxpayer like you do the request. I'm going to request it in my capacity as the negotiator for the health care.
I hear you there. I hear you there.
So, hey, everybody, let's keep our eyes open for the unveiling of the new city administrator. And let's see if Millbury is on his resume.
It will be interesting to see, that's for sure.
Or remember, Joe's going to stop everything. The firewall is South Carolina, so.
We'll see. We'll see. Hey, thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you on Valentine's Day.
That's right.
Have a great day.
Bring us chocolates. We'll accept them.
Yes, we will.